I'm Lacey, and I was asked to talk to you a little bit about the phrase YOLO, also known as You Only Live Once. And this is actually used a lot in the secular world, basically giving permission to go out and do whatever you want. And we can apply this in the Christian and spiritual aspect of our lives also. And God actually says this in the Bible in another way, but in essence it's the same concept. I'm going to read you a verse, and this is the verse I'm talking about that pertains to YOLO. And it's in the book of James, which is one of my favorite books. And if you haven't read it yet, that'd be a great book to read if you haven't. It's chapter 4, verse 14. And this is the King James Version. It says, "Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away." And that's so true. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, "You're not promised tomorrow," and that's exactly what this verse is saying. We aren't promised tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow brings, so we have to live in the moment. And so I do respect the phrase YOLO. You do only live once. We do need to go out and spread the gospel and spread the good news of Christ and live every day like it's our last. And I can respect that a lot. But there's two things that also come to mind when I think of that radical way of living, and that is fear, which is something that we all as humans deal with, and faith. So I'm going to talk a little bit about fear first, and then I'll go on to faith. Fear is something that I deal with on a daily basis, and maybe you all do as well. And it's something that I have to work on every day, and I have struggled with unanswered prayers because I do have anxiety and panic attacks, and I just pray all the time, "God, please just take this away from me." And it hasn't been just this quick, prayer that has been answered. It's been something that I've had to deal with for an ongoing amount of a long time. And there's been scriptures that I've looked up in the Bible that have really helped me with that. But fear comes with the unknown, and fear comes with worrying if you're doing the right thing in life, or worrying if you're accomplishing what you're supposed to, or worrying about how you look, or worrying about what people think of you. There's so many things that go along with that term. And I don't know what all of you all may suffer with when it comes to fear, but just know that that is not of God. God says, actually there's a verse I'd like to share with you that I recite to myself a lot to keep me focused on my faith, and that is 2 Timothy 1:7, and it says, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind." So if you're suffering with fear, know that that is just a weakness that the devil creeps on, and it is not of God. And if you just pray to Him and ask Him, "Lord, please just help me through this, whatever I'm going through," He will answer your prayers. But the problem with prayer, we as humans, we want it done right then. We live in a world now where internet is so quick. Responses through text are so fast that we can't stand to wait. And the beauty of living for the Lord is the simplicity of a prayer, and how powerful that can be if you wait for God to act and not just expect it right in that second of asking for it. You know, I suffer with panic attacks like I just mentioned, and I've prayed for so long for God to take this away, but I realized one day, I might miss the blessing that God has in store for me through this trial by wishing it away so fastly and praying it away. If I can step back and deal with it and lean on God, I will get the blessing and learn a lesson from it. And so I urge you to remember this verse as well. I have a couple for that have helped me also, and it's Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart." And this leads into the next term, faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. In Hebrews 11:1, it says that. And so what is faith? Faith is trusting and having hope and having trust and hope in the Lord, trusting in what He says He will do for us, and that He will answer our prayers, and He is there for us, and that He does want to help us to prosper and be all that we can be. And so it says, trust in the Lord, have faith in the Lord, hope in the Lord, with all your heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Our understanding is living in a world where it's so secular and sinful. All these stigmas and stereotypes are placed on us. We have to be a certain way. We have to look a certain way. We have to wear a certain clothing or name brand, or have this certain vehicle. All these things that have no meaning in life. But we as young Christians and in our teens and early 20s, we have so much pressure placed on us by society. And all God expects of us is to follow Him and love Him and read the Bible and pray and go to church. Those are such simple things that we can do that can fulfill us, that these objects and material things will never make us happy. They may in the moment, but not for a long time. And I'll give a little bit of my testimony, but I've always struggled with worrying what others think of me, and I wish that I could just please everyone, but you can't. And the beauty of being a Christian, there's only one person you have to answer to, and that is the Lord. And I'm so thankful that I know that now. And let me just say how inspiring it is to know that you all are at such a young age, and you want to learn more about the Lord, and that you trust in Him, and that you want to just learn as much as you can and become better Christians. It's just so inspiring, and I just want to say that. And I'm going to finish up with the 6th verse in Proverbs of chapter 3, and it says, "In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path." That is so wonderful to know that if we just lean on God and trust in Him, have faith, we can, going back to Yolo, we can live our lives and live it and flourish and have an abundance of happiness and hope and faith, and leave the fear at the door. I just urge you all to keep fighting the good fight. Pray. Trust that God will answer your prayers. Live every day like it's your last. And have faith that God is going to work miracles in your life. I just want to say again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk with you all. And I hope it answered some questions or concerns or fears that you may have, and that we all can just lean on each other in these last days. Again, I say thank you, and God bless.